Hey guys, welcome back to my channel for an all new episode recap of today's Days of Our Lives, April 10, 2026. So we start off with Sarah and Brady. Honestly, I had to really fast forward through the scene because y'all already, if you guys watched the show today and see the scene, you guys will know what I'm referring to ad nauseum. So they first talk about what's going on with Brady's plans to nail Sophia and his whole, hesitation about going into the private investigation career path. And Sarah saying that he has an knack for it. He was the one who actually determined that Sophia's baby is not Tate's. So he said, that was a lucky hunch, but that's just my dad's job. I don't think I fit into that. But Sarah was encouraging him in that. So they were there, I guess, helping out Rachel's pet. And they also talk about Kristen moving out and how it's been great since she moved out. She still blames him and Marlena for sending Rachel back to Bayview. However, Brady doesn't like Kristen's coming at Marlena, but he also is not fully agreeing with what Marlena is saying because he knows that she means well. But again, Bayview is where the scene of the crime happened with Sophia, and he doesn't think that they're doing what they need to do over there. But Sarah says that they're understaffed, and hopefully after what happened between Rachel and Sophia, that they will monitor the situation better. I don't think so, but anyways, they decide to just, spend more intimate time together. So I skipped through those parts of them being in bed together. They finally did it. Honestly, I had to skip through this because this was just disgusting to me. So Gwen is at the Demira Mansion. She is on cloud nine because Dimitri finally is agreeing to sign these papers. She's going to be filthy rich, or so she thinks. And she's telling Xander about this, and Xander is like, really, Dimitri really just, stop doing what he's doing? Like, he's just allowing you to just proceed with the divorce process and everything. And she said, surprisingly, I didn't think he would really agree to sign, but he is, and they just want to move on. And Leo was feeling guilty about how he treated me and the friendship and sleeping around with my husband, but I am happy about it. So they're thinking about taking up the room, and they're kissing in the living room, in EJ's living room, and EJ comes in and like, you guys need to get out. So Gwen is like, are you kidding me? Like, I'm a guest here, and so is Xander. So he said, yeah, you were my guest, not Xander, so you guys need to just go. So she said, are you kidding me right now? He said, like, you're gonna be divorced soon, like, you're not at the mirror anymore, so you don't have to stay here. So she said, Xander, let me talk to EJ in private. And Xander went off to the kitchen areas. So she asked EJ, like, what's really going on? What's the change? So he said that, you're not really at the mirror anymore, so you don't really have to be, staying here no more. And she said, might I tell you that I am the one funding this whole project and my money and this and that, and maybe I need to go to the public, tell all the secrets. So he said, you'd be like, doing a double-edged sword there, because I would do the same thing to you too. Now, she ended up having her way, and he was just saying that, look, I don't want other people to find out what's going on, and you parading with Xander is not a good look, especially, the fact that you want to be around the mirrors, you should, you're still linked to Dimitri, you should probably play it that way. So Gwen had it her way, like I said, and she and Xander went their way, and she was just saying, EJ is having a dry spell and all of that. So they went their way, and, they were having that time of their lives, and, Xander had to leave because he had some business to do. He ended up overhearing EJ on the phone with Rita. That's when he had an encounter with Kristen later on, which we'll discuss, and I don't know how much Xander overheard, but, EJ saying that, he needs to keep this thing quiet away from a lot of people, what they're working on. Now, on to Dimitri and Leo. They're kissing and everything, and Leo had flashbacks of him and Harry together, and he's feeling guilty, and he's saying, like, Dimitri, like, stop this. I don't want this to go too far. So Dimitri is like, I'm confused. Like, I thought we were working on us, our future. Like, you forced me like to agree to this divorce thing with Gwen for us to work on our future. So what's really going on now? So Leo is saying that, look, I don't mean to lead you on or anything, but I just can't be disloyal to Javi, and even though we might not get it together or so, it's just not gonna happen. So he's letting down Dimitri easily, and Dimitri's like, this was all a ploy to just, get me to sign these papers and for me to just, be fooled, not Gwen. So Leo is just swearing up and down that's not the case. He's just trying to just, do better for himself. He might be alone for the rest of his life, and he just doesn't want to just, he wants to be the better version. Whatever bull crap Leo is pulling this time, because I just feel like Leo just lead these two people on, and he doesn't know what he wants. So he just stay by himself, because it's just a waste of people's time. Now, speaking of Harvey did end up coming back to see him. So I don't know what does that mean for him and Leo. Honestly, he can do better than Leo, because Leo needs to figure out what he wants and stay to himself, honestly, because he's just hurting two people that clearly care about him. So whatever with him. So Rafe comes over to Kristen's place, and she was surprised how he found her. But again, that's his job. He was able to track her down. So he's asking her, hey, are you still have hate for your brother? Are you still in on taking him down? So she said, I didn't think you were still interested. I mean, you turned me down at first. So I'm really surprised. But yeah, I'm still wanting to take down that guy little by little each day. So he said, all right, I have a perfect way how we can do this without, shooting him or anything like that. That's irrational, right? So she said, how are the guys at the bureau going to know that you're, linking up with a former inmate? So he said, they don't have to know. We can keep this on the hush. So you're in the mirror, and you still have access to the mansion. It's not illegal to go search it, because we tried to search the secret room down there and there was nothing there. So maybe you can find something else. So she said, all right, she will definitely do that. So she goes over to the Mirror Mansion, and EJ's like, Kristen, what brings you over here? So she said, I'm here to pick up some mail that the butler left in the room. So he said, all right, go do that. But before that, she just wanted to just again rant into EJ about how he is responsible for all of Rachel's downfall. Like, come on now. I get EJ did some things to cause you to be away from your daughter, and to also, did the whole thing with your mom and Rachel's grandma. But still, you have to take some accountability for how Rachel turned out. Like, your manipulative way, your sadistic ways, your run-ins with the law and running away from the law had a lot to do with the impact of this little girl. So you need to take some accountability, and you keep deflecting onto EJ, deflecting onto Marlena, Brady, whoever else, and not taking responsibility for who you are. And even EJ said it. EJ said, I mean, you're blaming all of this, all of what Rachel has been into on me. So she said, yeah, I'm not even trying to. I'm actually saying it directly to you. You're the reason. And you see, like how you got your son, you sacrificed my daughter for your son. Like, you are not going to get away with this. I'm going to make sure you pay. So I said, all right, you're going to come with your threats. I'm going to go to another room where I don't have to deal with that. So she wanted a drink or something like that before she goes to the room, but then she ended up going into the secret tunnel, and she was looking around. Nothing is really there, because again, EJ is one step ahead. She got a bottle of wine to just play it off. EJ saw her with it, and he's just like, what were you doing there? So she didn't really tell him nothing. She claimed she was looking for some great bottle of wine, whatever. Tells Rafe there's nothing in there, so what are we gonna do? But EJ's always one step ahead. Like, you think he's gonna put Lexi down there after the whole police were on his back, Rafe, FBI? You think he's gonna go down there and be stupid? Come on, guys, y'all don't know EJ. But that is it for today's, guys. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe to my channel. I will see you guys next week. Have a wonderful weekend.